It's Monday, it's Weather Geeks time. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Here is Weekend Warrior Mike Joyce. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was uneventful, a little chilly. Saturday temperatures were 8 degrees shy of average, and then yesterday we warmed up a little bit, and now we're above average.
Oh man, is it nice?
Great.
It's nice out today. I even told you my car is a black car, and it was sitting in the sun. I had to turn on my air conditioning coming in. That's how warm it was in the car. It's a beautiful day out there. We're going to start with the broad view real quickly, and not so beautiful up here across the Midwest this afternoon. This is a healthy storm, pretty much the first major big-ticket snow event in the U.S. this season so far. There's been snow out in the Rockies and whatnot, but this is affecting a large population center, Minneapolis, heading over towards northern Wisconsin, UP of Michigan as well. But as you can see, there's hardly a cloud in the sky here in northeast Ohio and western PA this afternoon. These are 2 o'clock hour temperatures, and we hit 60 up at the airport in Vienna, 63 in Newcastle, 62 Akron, Canton. So it's just beautiful out. Enjoy this while you can. You're going to have another day like this tomorrow, and then that's it. That would be it until at least the end of the month. And, of course, then at the end of the month, we're in December, and days like this are not very common in December. So it might be a long time before we see days like we're having today and will have tomorrow. So let's talk about the future then. Now that we've covered the past real quickly, I'll take off the current information, bring up the latest computer model here. This is the NAM model going out over the next couple of days. And I'll put up the surface pressure here. And, you know, we, as meteorologists, we love colorful maps and cool-looking, big, significant weather features. And this is just, for us, it's fun to watch this stuff. There's the Arctic front out here this afternoon. You can real easy to pick out. And, you know, you put this in motion for a few hours, and it's just so cool to see that Arctic air just plowing south. So in a place like Kansas City and eventually Oklahoma City, all this warm air is just eviscerated by that Arctic front pushing south. And this is just over the matter of a few hours. This is from this afternoon through early tonight. Look how much progress that the Arctic air mass makes. Here's the center of our low pressure system tonight, closed contour right here, cold front back here, warm front up here, and look how cold it's going to be up in the northern Rockies tonight. You get into some of these greens and the color bar over here on the left, this is way below zero air, and a lot of this is of course up in the mountains, but still it is very, very impressive, especially for November. As far as snow totals go, this is going to be a healthy snowstorm up here across the upper Midwest, northern plains, especially the northern suburbs of the Twin Cities and heading over into northern Wisconsin, UP of Michigan. The purples here, everyone's over 6 when you get into purple. And you start to see some pinks showing up, and I wouldn't be shocked if some of these spots up here got 15, 16, 18 inches of snow.
Yikes.
Yikes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of people, of course, have been seeing this kind of event on the national news and on the Weather Channel and that sort of thing and saying, hey, when's our turn? Thankfully, some good news on that. We're not going to see accumulating snow around our viewing area anytime soon, with perhaps the exception of extreme northern Trumbull County. We'll show you that in just a second. But Mike, you and I were talking before we hit record this afternoon that maybe a week from right now, or 6 or 7 days from right now, outside chance of a little more of a widespread accumulation event, but probably not until. So we'll show you the models, the longer range models, in just a second. But yeah, there's your swath of very, very healthy snowfall over the next couple of days. Now, as far as our weather goes, we mentioned that it's going to be real nice through tomorrow. It is going to be a little bit on the windy side, I think, as we get into the day tomorrow. Here's a look at some of the wind speeds tomorrow afternoon. You get into the blues here. This is up into the teens, into the 20s in miles per hour. So I do think that it's going to turn a little breezier, if not windy, during the course of Tuesday. Now, as far as our next rain chances go, you did the noon forecast, Mike. What do you think as far as the timing on this next front and showers pushing in?
It's probably going to be definitely after sundown tomorrow. I think we're going to get through the entire daylight hours just fine. Going to be a great day. A couple models have shown their differences. The Euro keeps it a little bit later. I think that's the model solution that maybe might have us a little wet on Wednesday morning. The other models are keeping us early, so it's going to be a brief rain Wednesday morning and then drying up.
Yeah, and so the timing on this is pretty good, and that if you want to do anything outdoors tomorrow, you're fine during the daylight hours. Here's the latest NAM model, North American model, for tomorrow evening at 7, and yeah, there's the leading edge of the rain pushing in from the west, and this is almost 2 hours after sunset here. So yeah, I like the timing ideas there, and that it rains after sunset into the overnight. And then here's the NAM for Wednesday morning. one of the perhaps faster models, keeping things to the east by the time a lot of people are up and kids are going to the bus stop and that sort of thing. So the timing on this is pretty good, and that most of it is coming in the middle of the night, or at least after dark, Tuesday evening. And then, of course, the temperature crash is coming. Here's Wednesday morning, and the Arctic front at this point, I'll bring up the pressures again. Well to our east, probably, unless that real slow European idea is right. And then it's maybe just pushing through Wednesday morning. But most of the modeling does have it east of us Wednesday morning now, and somewhere maybe out through here. So we're getting back into the 30s, and we will probably stay in the 30s on Wednesday. We might start, if you're out early, it might be close to 40 or something like that. But the afternoon surely is going to be in the 30s. So what happens then for the rest of the week? Wednesday is a largely uneventful day. The lake effect machine hasn't really kicked in at this point yet. So we might even see some sun in a few spots Wednesday afternoon. But blustery, colder, much, much different. It's 60 this afternoon. It's going to feel like it's 30 to 35, 48 hours from now. So, yikes.
Big change.
Yeah, it's a big, significant change. And what's remarkable about this change is how long it's going to last. This is at least 10 days, if not 2 solid weeks of way below average temperatures. That's a long time to have a cold outbreak like this. And of course, it's early in the season. This is unusual in many, many ways. Well, here's Thursday, and this is when things become a little more favorable for some lake effect bands to set up. Now, here in the WFMJ viewing area, we're outside of the primary snow belt, but you can probably draw a secondary snow belt that comes down into parts of Trumbull County, certainly, especially north of Warren and north of Newton Falls, places like that. And some of those places might see some real light accumulations. Again, we'll talk about that a little more in just a second. But for the most part, this Thursday into Friday thing is most likely a primary snow belt kind of an event, not only in Northeast Ohio, but Northwestern PA, Southwestern New York as well. And overall, pretty uneventful, just darn cold through the weekend. Now, here's early next week, or Sunday into Monday, I should say. And most of the models, it looks like to me, are keeping low pressure way to our south and east and heading out to sea. But still, there might be some moisture. Maybe there's another cold front coming through. In fact, there definitely is another cold front coming through that could stir up some snow showers and maybe some light accumulations. We're talking 6-7 days from now. So we'll be fine-tuning and tweaking that forecast. Again, as far as snow accumulations through the end of this week, here's the European model. Anything in blue is above 2 inches. Here's northern Trumbull County. So, if the Euro were to be exactly right, north of 82 or up into the northern half of Trumbull County, someone might get an inch or two out of this. But, again, not a big deal. And the Canadian model keeps it even farther north, keeps that 2-inch contour up in Ashtabula County, and then there's a 6-inch lollipop over towards Erie, PA. European tries to bring that little lollipop over close to Erie as well. And then here's the GFS model, and it really kind of poo-poos the snow here. So the bottom line I want you to take away from this, we're going to see flurries, certainly, especially, I would say, north of Route 30, Thursday into Friday, maybe into Saturday. But accumulation's not looking likely in our viewing area, with the exception of perhaps northern Trumbull, and even that is not something we're going to take to the bank just yet. We talked about how long-term this cold snap is. This 16-day forecast takes us all the way almost to Thanksgiving. This is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And look at this. I mean, we should still be 50 or so at this time of year, at least upper 40s by the end of the period. But
low 50s for at least a few more days, I think, is the average this time of year.
And so tomorrow we're probably going to get well into the lower 60s, if not mid-60s tomorrow, probably 4 or 5 higher than today. And then here's the transition day on Wednesday. And then Thursday through the foreseeable future, no warmer than the 30s, and perhaps even a couple of days early next week with that second cold front, where we're in the 20s for highs. Overnight lows might be in the teens in November. We're going to look up after the video is through here what some of the record low maximum temperatures are. In other words, the coldest highs for those days early next week. I suspect these numbers are pretty close to those. So this is a big ticket item. Whatever you hear from the national media or other sources, the polar vortex is not in the U.S. The cold air is not the polar vortex, but pieces of the polar vortex are farther south in Canada than they are usually, and that helps to steer cold air in, but the cold air is not the vortex, and despite it's not a storm,
right.
And you may see tweets or headlines that say the polar vortex is visiting the U.S. No, it's not. So anyway, don't get me started on that. Anyway, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday. There's Mike. I'm Eric. I'll see you on the news tonight. You'll see Mike again this weekend on 21 News.